there's been a lot of environmental strain on the northern part of the state recently with the fire and specifically the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire, and now flooding concerns. I know it's hard to describe or characterize an entire area that you cover, but what have you seen in the past few months, first with the fire and now with flooding concerns?
What we've experienced here in the area of Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire is a major shock. It's a major shock to people as individuals of and to entire communities and entire regions of people that have been impacted by the fire. First, having to be evacuated. Many people, hundreds of people have lost homes, and we're contemplating what the future holds. And there's some trauma. There's a lot of sadness over the loss of beauty. We're land-based people. There's a very rich agricultural tradition here, and I work with the acequias, and so for us, there's a real danger of losing our headwaters, our future water supply, and so what the fire has caused is devastation for the entire region, and now of course we're starting to get prepared for flooding.
Yeah, what are some stories you've heard from people, whether it's the recovery after the fire or now getting ready for that potential flooding?
Where I grew up on my parents' ranch, about half of the forested land burned. My uncle has been a logger most of his life, and now his livelihood has been impacted. Not only does he log trees, but also markets landscaping rock. So those kind of land-based businesses, livelihoods, ranching, grazing, logging, landscaping material, selling trees for landscaping. Those livelihoods are devastated by this fire. And I always think that this place, to me, it's a magical place. It's a place of great beauty, but it's also a place of where people can still earn, at least until this fire, people could still earn a living from the land. And these are low income families. They're not rich. And we've managed to figure out what it takes to live in this land, and for it to burn in such a tragic and extreme way on such a large scale. It's a major shock, and it's very devastating. We're talking about economic collapse and ecological collapse. It's hard to see the mountains black in many of these places. It's hurtful.
I'm sure. What's the impact been specifically on the acequias there?
Well, for the acequias, the impact's going to be devastating because the watersheds are charred. I've been to places in the upper watershed they look like a moonscape. There are, all that's left are these black toothpicks and ash. And we've been working with Phoebe Suina from Cochiti Pueblo, who has an engineering and hydrology firm, and she's advised us of what happened in Las Conchas fire in Cerro Grande. And when you have a very high intensity burn scar like that, we're likely to see some debris flow and some heavy flooding. And for acequias, any flood is bad because it impacts your infrastructure and your fields, and it causes erosion. But a flooding from a burn scar is worse because it brings ash. It brings that debris from the fire. So we're worried that our infrastructure is going to be damaged from the debris flows. In past fires, like the Little Bear fire in Lincoln County, we saw acequias get completely silted over. Some of them got dislodged. Their concrete headgates were washed away. So the acequias are going to be hit very hard by flooding that happens. We spent the last month, as soon as the fire cooled off, we deployed a mapping team to map as many acequias as we can in this area, so that if they get damaged or destroyed, we have the maps to prove that we existed, and also so that we can file claims with the federal government for repairs and replacement when that comes to pass. So we mapped over 30 acequias in 2 to 3 weeks using GPS and getting out in the field and having a team here to do that.
I know you kind of summarized it already, but how important is it that there is assistance available for communities rather than just individuals?
It's critically important. It's critically important to have support for communities because this is collective infrastructure. This is infrastructure that we built up for generations. And FEMA is set up to help individual homeowners who might have been damaged, and rightly so. And even that has a lot to be improved. But as far as the acequias, I think FEMA is accustomed to working with counties or municipalities. They know how to work with individuals. Even that should be better. But convincing them that acequias are a political subdivision and making sure that enables us to use some resources from FEMA is important, because the recovery and rebuilding is going to be expensive. It's going to be substantial. We need a major investment in this entire region for us to become, viable again as a community, to function, just to restore basic function.
I know in Albuquerque and other cities, people might not understand everything. I guess the reality that you just described of small scale farming, of the reliance on growing your own food and what this does to that. What would you tell to the rest of New Mexicans who don't have the same way of life, that they need to know about what happened in your area and what's still happening there?
What's so intense about this disaster is how many people are affected and the extreme nature of the fire, the intensity of the fire and the potential intensity of the flooding. And so our entire way of life is at stake, and it's a way of life that's distinctly New Mexican. And this is something that I feel like we're the a canary in the coal mine for what's happening with climate change. It's like the front line of what climate change is doing to what we used to think was a stable place to live is now very unstable. Just today, there's a 70% chance of rain, possibly heavy rainfall, and everyone is trying to put sandbags at the last minute. Like, we can't have a normal day as long as there's a flash flood watch. And if there's a flash flood warning, we need to get out immediately. And so these are families that were already traumatized by evacuation. Some lost their homes, the fire evacuations where people were gone for a whole month. They just got home, they cleaned up their smoke damage and fire damage and their rotten freezers. And now we're trying to survive a flood. And this is a tremendous humanitarian disaster. And we have people with limited mobility who may not be able to get out if there's a flash flood happening quickly. And so it's something that is potentially these are disasters, and it's not a one-time thing. This is a disaster that's ongoing day after day after day. And we're being told that flooding can happen not just once, but it can happen for the next 2, 3, or 4 years until the watershed stabilizes and all that debris and ash goes through our watersheds, down our valleys and rivers, into our fields, which we probably won't be able to plant or grow pasture for years because it's going to be contaminated with all that ash. We have a way of saying in the acequias, we don't say I'm a member of a ditch. In Spanish, you say yo pertenezco a la acequia del norte. That means I belong to this acequia. And that is the idea of belonging that is so profound for being land-based people that have been here for centuries, is that there's a sense of belonging and a sense of that we're caretakers of this place, and that we're going to stay and we're going to help it heal. And we're going to need support. And I've can say that through this experience, I've learned a lot, but one thing I've gained more is empathy and just thinking about just anybody who's been through a disaster.